It's time for part 2 of my advanced tips video for Wanderer mains, but in a different fashion. Today we will only discuss exploration details and strange things about him. If you're looking for combat tips, check out the first video. Otherwise, Wanderer's skill is one of the best talents for moving around, but it can be pushed quite a bit in terms of how much movement you get out of it. You are given 100 Kuugoryoku points, with Hydro nearby on cast 120. These are the things you can do during this skill with their cost. Tip number 1. These points can be used in more efficient ways than the ones you'd think about right away. For example, you want to get from point A to point B. Most people would press this skill and hold this upper movement. But in reality, spamming it is more efficient because there are certain actions that Wanderer can perform that should cost a given amount of points, but if done in the last second, even with just 1 point left, they will not be interrupted. Think about it like when you can always perform a jump when climbing, even if your stamina is almost zero. Things that you can do even with 1 Kuugoryoku points are charger attacks, going up and dashing. This results in spamming your upper movement being a better strategy to reach a high point compared to holding it. We can go even a little further if instead we hold it briefly on each jump, as you can see on the screen. You basically hold it and release it just before the extra consumption of points kicks in. And this is still not the highest you can reach, but we will talk about this again in a minute. Let's say now you want to cross a body of water. If you want to travel the furthest, you want to absorb Hydro, of course. But you also want to use the default movement and without sprinting. It will not consume any extra points, but actually kind of move fast enough. At the end, a jump or a dash can be performed to push this even further. So in order, the least distance is given by spamming sprint. Second worst is just holding sprint with a dash or a jump at the end. And the most distance is no sprint at all, with dash or jump in the end. If you're very high up, you can also stop sprinting the moment the skill is about to end to keep some momentum and actually descend fast but not in a straight line. Okay, let's now look at stairs, and this video is starting to feel very nerdy right now. But anyway, if you sprint on stairs, there is going to be this weird effect that doesn't really look right. He still goes forward, but he also kind of clips into them. What you want to be doing to get more distance is spamming the dash or holding it, but without holding any movement key. This will result in a normal sprinting speed. He's also pretty good on slopes like the ones in Fontaine, both with a stair trick or without sprinting at all. Now something a little bit weird. Wanderer's points are consumed client-side and can have inconsistencies. And you know what? Mobile user with 5 average FPS, you win on this one, because his points actually get consumed less efficiently on low frame rates, both when you go up or forward. This is my spamming dash to the Geo Hypostasis on 60 FPS. As you can see, I don't go that far. However, if I change my FPS to 30, not every single dash will actually consume my stamina points. These inconsistencies actually make me able to reach the boss area by simply spamming dash. Now, should you lower your FPS for this? Absolutely not, but it's fun to know about and some people have to play like this anyway, so it can be very useful to them. Let's start to talk about Wanderer and teams that just move around fast, because many skills are affected by movement speed. A Yelan with first grade magic will be faster during her skill. A Wanderer with lost prayers will also be faster, and we can add more to this. This is my team for artifact farming routes. I do this on a daily basis as it's about 60 to 80,000 artifact XP, and I'm a big tryhard, but this team allows me to do it as quickly and efficiently as possible. We have Jin Situ for collecting particles, granting us 15% movement speed, Shiori gives me 10% movement speed, and both Shanyun and Wanderer are on lost prayers. This is the difference between a Wanderer sprint with no movement speed buffs versus all the speed buffs I just mentioned. Of course, you can use Yelan, Sayu, Kazuha, Keiya, Rosaria Deya, and all these kind of characters that have something that makes you go faster or use less stamina or such, but I found this version to be the best for me. However, if you're looking for something that also clears enemies efficiently, you can probably fit that as well. Other things that can be important to remember for Wanderer are the fact that your normal stamina replenishes while in a skill, that you are immune to drowning and fall damage during it, and that you can recover from attacks by simply dashing at 0 stamina cost. And that was all for this video. The next ones are probably going to be full guides or tips for the new 4.7 characters, so stay tuned for that. Sub and like if you enjoyed this, it helps me greatly, and thank you for watching.